joining. It's really the awaited event, which is showing our vision in UTAD. So this is the Fleet Admiral debate, and the polls will start from today. And we shall start the debate by now, and our host will be Van Voort.
All right. So each one of you guys read the rules, how we're going to structure this. Candidate 1, Winters. Candidate 2, Guitar Man. Um, each of you will answer the question, and then each of you will respond to the question. 10-4?
10-4.
10-4.
Right. So, yeah, it's a big moment. We're going to go ahead and start with Winters. Go ahead and do your open.
All right, good evening, everyone, or good morning, depends on what time zone you're in. For those who don't know me, I bring over 13 years of military experience in the German armed forces to the table. Right now, I'm a deputy company commander in a mechanized infantry battalion, and I bring a deep respect for it, for what it means to lead others. I'm not running for Fleet Admiral to have the title. I'm here to bring clarity, consistency, and hopefully strength to UTAD's operations. My leadership style is quite simple. I lead from the front, I listen before I act, and I always ensure people know where they stand, what they're working towards. In combat, I believe in structure, clean comms, defined roles, and precise coordination. But I also understand that between battles, people need room to explore and play their own way and grow. Strategically, my vision is about building a fleet that functions with confidence, where recon, logistics, support, and assault wings work together like gears in a machine. A fleet that can adapt to any scenario and where remember whether they fly fighter or run cargo or do mining and hauling, knows where they belong. I'm not interested in flash or statistics. I'm here to make UTAD stronger, smarter, and ready for anything that the verse throws at us. That starts with structure, trust, and commitment to lead by example. That's what I promise to bring to you if you choose me as your next Fleet Admiral. Thank you.
All right, very good. Guitar, go for it, man.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to this most glorious occasion where we get to choose who is going to lead our military next. What I believe in is that leadership is defined by being willing to jump into the fray in any role possible to lead by example, as well as showing and training everybody into doing anything that they could desire to be. The one thing to always remember when it comes to combat and anything is that position is what matters and training makes perfect. Now, while we can strive for perfection, we must understand that we will never receive perfection. That is why we always train, we always keep awareness, and we always strive to do better. And that is exactly my vision for UTAD, is to continue to strive for better, to strive for that perfection that is always unattainable, to bring our best to the table every time we go out, whether we are going out for just a simple cargo escort run or whether we are going out for a massive space battle. It doesn't matter. Numbers don't matter. The only thing that matters is training the resolve and the persistence to always put ourselves in the better position so that we can overcome any obstacle that is put before us. So what I bring to the table is a vast knowledge of tactical and strategic experience to be able to lead and strategize the positions, the trajectories, and everything that goes along with it to ensure that we are always one step ahead of our foe. And that, my friends, is my opener.
All right, very good. So we're going to move into questions. The questions I have submitted on here are going to be based on operational efficiency, community involvement, engagement and recruitment, crisis leadership, information control, and legacy planning. And then shortly after that, we're going to move into the submitted questions by some of the members that have submitted questions. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and start with operational efficiency. Winners. how do you plan to organize and lead fleet operations to ensure both efficiency and enjoyment for all members?
All right. So every operation will follow a clear command flow and objective. People will know their roles, comms will stay clean, and execution will fall sharp. But I'll also make sure we vary mission types, including like casual, friendly options, and create room for creativity so that no one is left out. Um, Efficiency and enjoyment aren't opposites. They like go hand in hand when the leadership is solid. Yeah.
All right, I like it. Guitar, go ahead.
Efficiency is about consistent training. It is about everyone learning what role they fit into, as well as understanding all the rest of the roles that is available around them so that they can know where their friends should be and trust that their friends are going to be there. Once that is established, efficiency will naturally occur due to the immense training and trust that builds between the unit.
All right. Okay, so each of you get to respond to each other's statements. Winner, you're going to go first. You got 30 seconds on the clock, starting as soon as you say something.
All right. Yeah, he has some valid points that we are, or I align my vision with. That we should focus more towards training together and try to focus on being as efficient as possible for possible future events that come up. So spend a little bit more time in training and then spend a little bit less time later on in operations.
All right, perfect. Guitar, go ahead and respond to what Winner said.
I definitely agree with a lot of the points that Winters makes there. The only thing that stood out to me is I would question the fact that efficiency falls right along with enjoyment, because there's a lot of times that to remain efficient, it may not be the most enjoyable outcome or the most enjoyable path to go, that we must keep in mind that there are some things that we must sacrifice in order for the greater good.
All right, copy that. So the next subject that we're going to go into is community involvement. In what ways, Winners, do you think our organization should interact with larger Star Citizen communities, including alliances or participation in events?
Right. I think strategic alliances or friendly joint ops and participation in community events shows that UTAD is a professional and respectful group. I'd encourage contact with like-minded orgs, but always on our terms, so to strengthen our position and not dilute it. I'm going to try to reach out to bigger organizations and create events together that we spread our name across the verse until we're kind of a big org ourselves, so others reach out to us.
All right. And Guitar?
I believe that when it comes to strategic partnerships, the one thing that we should always keep in mind is that any strategic partnerships and alliances should benefit UTAD over all else. We have to understand that we bring a lot to the table, that we are a force to be reckoned with, which has been shown in the operations that have come to pass up to this point. The one thing that I think is the clear message to send is that any strategic partnership should definitely come with our terms involved and not catering to the other party. As such, when I go to furnish any of these partnerships, I will ensure that we hold the higher ground, that we keep a firm iron fist to ensure that UTAD gets the better end of that arrangement and that it is on our agreeable term and we're not bowing down to anybody.
All right, perfect. We went a little over on time on that one. Watch your times. Okay, Winners, go ahead and respond to that.
Yeah, I think Guitar Man handled the last situation where we had to deal with another organization perfectly. I have to agree with basically everything he said. We have to focus on our own strength and to benefit UTAD and not others. And with the last situation we had, it was dealt with pretty good. And yeah, I agree with what he said.
Go ahead, Guitar.
I agree with Winner's standpoint. We do need to foster some partnerships that do benefit us to ensure the growth of our organization and give us a more active atmosphere, and also a standing within the community at large to grow our name and presence even further. That way people recognize us, and when they recognize us, that means we grow respect.
Okay, time. All right, on the next subject is going to be engagement and engagement and recruitment. So, winners, what strategies would you implement to increase member engagement and attract new recruits to our organization?
Okay, so the short answer is keep things dynamic inside and consistent outside. That's how you engage members and attract new ones. The longer answer to it would be internally, I'll rotate operations, create room maybe for roleplay if some people are up to it, and career paths, and make sure members always feel involved and useful. Externally, I'll push our image as an organized but welcoming fleet, with clear roles, strong values, and a purpose, of course. That attracts the right kind of players. And on recruitment, especially, the one problem we have right now is the one-sided recruitment or the attraction of players. So maybe focus a little bit more on on the European sector, so we can bring equally or the same amount of people to the table from all time zones.
All right, perfect. Go ahead, Guitar.
What I would do is focus on not only welcoming people as they come into our Discord space or into the game space under UTAD, but also engaging them to join into events, to create events into multiple different facets and types, so that we can try to appeal to everybody's interest of playing at any given moment, as well as showing that we are constantly there and available for questions that they may have, for concerns they may have, and to be able to answer and quickly establish that sort of relationship that we can foster people to want to be here instead of just coming off of a random invite. When it comes to externally to bring people in, it's as simple as just putting the word out and people will come. From there, you have to engage them internally to keep them engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, winners. You can respond to Guitar, and your time starts now.
Yeah. That's exactly the one thing we have to focus on, not only to bring people into our Discord or into the organization, but try to be as welcoming as possible. So if anyone is just alone here, join in the voice chat and do something together and help, especially newer players, or even or not just help the newer players, but extend the operational or the operations with like people who are in the verse for a quite long time and do just stuff together that they don't feel left out.
All right, 10-4. Went a little around time. All right, Guitar, go ahead and respond.
All right, I definitely agree with Winner's points here. Like, there's a lot of engagement pieces that he talks about, and I do agree that the EU time zone definitely needs to be kind of have some focus to improve and round out our structure. But I believe the efforts still need to remain on all facets and not just the EU time zone.
Copy that. All right, so the next one we're moving into is crisis leadership. Winners, imagine a key operation has gone sideways, half the fleet is destroyed, and morale is plummeting. What steps would you take in the next 24 hours to regain trust and stabilize the organization?
All right. Well, if a major op fails, well, I'd take responsibility first because leadership starts with accountability, and then I'd open direct comms with officers, get feedback, and put a recovery plan into motion. So everybody has a say what went wrong and where we're gonna move next. Within 24 hours, we'd run a morale boosting mission, something quick and fun, to reset the momentum and remind everyone why they joined, and then take another turn on the bigger operations.
Perfect. Go ahead, Guitar.
All right, so within the first 24 hours, I would definitely accept responsibility for the actions and the failure, fall it under my ring of command, as well as call in a debrief with everybody, not just leadership, and come together and figure out what went wrong, analyze it, bring on a new mission that'll come within the next 48 hours to be able to boost morale. Something, like Winter said, something quick and simple, something to boost and reset, and then turn momentum with the analysts that we learned to move forward.
All right, perfect. Winners, go ahead and respond to Guitar.
Yeah, pretty much nothing to add there. Pretty much sums it up really good.
All right.
Just what I said.
Sounds good. Guitar?
The only thing I have to respond to Winners there is I understand the chain of command structure, but when it comes to a failure, keep in mind that we need to provide that analysis with everybody as well as connect with everybody to get, an at the ground level sort of view, even from the top.
All right, copy that. All right, so the next one we're going into is information control. How much transparency should the Fleet Admiral maintain with regular members during wartime or high-stake diplomacy? Is it ever okay to withhold information?
All right, so members deserve honesty. It builds trust. But during wartime or diplomacy, there are moments where full transparency could endanger outcomes. In those cases, I'll delay information, not hide it. I believe in earned trust, and that means knowing when to speak and when to hold until it's safe. So there can be moments where decisions have to be made really quick when not everybody is available, and in those moments, information would be delayed and everyone would be gathered in to the circle of information afterwards.
All right, Guitar?
All right, so when it comes to an active wartime environment, the one thing we all need to keep in mind is that there is definitely always going to be some information that is withheld for a period of time due to the active prevention of espionage and spies from being able to gather those information and turn that against us. And that information would always and only pertain to tactical information and our movements and whereabouts. Anything else is under full transparency and everybody will know everything about the Fleet Admiral's decisions. It is only when that topic is under scrutiny and could potentially be turned against us in a very detrimental manner.
All right, Winners, you got a rebuttal on that?
Yeah, withholding information is always a quite delicate topic because no one wants to feel left out. So withholding or holding back information is just in very specific situations feasible. And as Guitar Man just said, we're, I think, the both of us trying to lead with an open leadership and withhold information just in very specific situation.
All right, Guitar.
No rebuttal at this time.
All right, perfect. We're going to move into legacy planning. I think this is a big topic, honestly, because you guys are the very first fleet admirals. Let's put some extra thought into this. I think it's really important for the future of the org. Legacy planning. What would success as fleet admiral look like after your term ends? How would you ensure continuity and prevent a leadership vacuum? Winners.
I'll document everything, delegate responsibility across capable officers and very capable members, and prepare future leaders throughout my term. My goal is not to build around myself, it is to build a fleet that outlives my role. When I hand over my command key, no one should be scrambling, they should be ready. So it's just not starting my term and then building everything new when the term ends, but handing over just to the next generation where they can add their twist to leadership. But the structure will be clear and everyone knows what has to be done.
All right, Guitar.
Fostering the growth that we have and fostering the members that we have currently is definitely the key to everything. To ensure a smooth transition, the other key factor that I would bring to the table is also ensuring my availability to the future Fleet Admiral for no less than 2 months, to where I will actively make presence to be available for questions they may have, for conversations and discussions they might have, to ensure that as they take the reins and during that period of time where they're adjusting to their new responsibilities, they have somebody that they can turn to at any given moment to get, advice and direction, as well as building that handbook, building those standard operating procedures to ensure they know what to expect stepping into that role.
Winners, you got a rebuttal?
I think being actively present for that long amount of time is pretty good if someone has questions, but won't be necessary because I will provide an open leadership. Everyone under my command will know how everything goes. And if there's some questions for specific situations, I will always be around to answer them.
Good. Guitar.
The only rebuttal I have is on his rebuttal. My counter question to that, Winners, is what is the real wrong to giving an extra arm, an extra helping hand?
Yeah. No, it's if I can answer to that. It's not wrong about giving an extra hand. Maybe that was lost in translation. I mean with that we should not have a specific time set for how long the prior fleet admiral should be there to answer questions. I mean, of course, we will stay in the org for many more years, so the next generation of fleet admirals can always ask us. That was the point I was trying to make. So the hand is always there.
All right. Is there any more points either of you'd like to make on legacy planning?
Not for me.
Nope.
All right. So that's the end of the first segment. The next segment is audience questions. And we're going to start with Biotics. As Fleet Admiral, what are your plans to increase our military strength? Go ahead, Winners.
Oh yeah, sorry. My plan to increase military strength focuses on 3 key pillars: structure, specialization, and readiness. First, I'll implement a clear fleet structure with defined divisions, like recon, support, assault, logistics. I mean, we're building it right now, so everyone knows where we're going. So we operate as one coordinate force. Second, I'll encourage specialization, giving members the opportunity to grow in specific roles whether it's piloting, just gunnery, or battlefield leadership if they want. And finally, we'll run regular ops training scenarios to keep the fleet sharp and adaptable. Military strength isn't just about firepower, it's mainly about being organized and prepared, and unified when it matters.
All right. Guitar?
I will build military strength, much like Winter said, through organization of roles, through organization of departments, through regular training regiments to ensure that everybody is ready and understands fully their role. In coming together, working with everybody in an active fashion and engaging them during these training regiments, and then also to challenge them to think outside the box. And that outside the box thinking, many times in a situation, allows you to take that opportunity that presents itself and turn it into something greater.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
Winters, do you have a rebuttal on that?
Yeah, pretty much agree on that. I would also encourage creativity. So we do have a military ranking structure from top to bottom, but every member has their own space for creativity in or during an operation. So if anyone has a better idea to solve a problem or to get the mission accomplished, they're always welcome to rise to the voice and tell everybody what's your opinion.
Great. Guitar, you got a rebuttal to Winters?
I do not.
All right, perfect. We're going to move on to the next one from Captain Liquid. What are some of the ways that you, as Fleet Admiral, will delegate resources or manpower to protecting those of us that may want to live off-grid when we are not called to service? So I guess in other words, like the grit members, right? They don't always want to be part of military operations.
Well, as a Fleet Admiral, I fully respect those who want to live off the grid between the deployments. My job isn't to limit that. It's to support it. I'll implement a flexible patrol system if possible, and rapid response protocols. So maybe implement a home station where we all will be somewhere around that, so we have a very, very short notice to move time. I also plan to assign recon or escort wings as needed during high threat periods, plus intel from the fleet ops, like pirate activity or hostile orcs if possible. They will be shared transparently, so off-grid members can make their own choices. So you're part of the fleet even when you're out on your own, and I'll make sure you're never left without backup.
Guitar?
So when it comes to delegating resources for it, definitely follows a line of recon patrols, having a quick response force to be able to respond to any call that they might send, and having those quick response forces spread out in a way that makes sense so that wherever that call may come from, there can be somebody that can respond quickly and efficiently to get there to be able to respond in time. It all follows the philosophy of no man left behind. We don't want to leave anybody in this org, whether they're part of Grit, whether they're part of SF, whether they're part of any facet that this org ever brings up, and make them feel that they're alone, because they are never alone. We are always there to protect them.
Winters, you got a rebuttal?
Nothing to add.
Guitar?
Nothing to add.
Okay. All right, so the next one comes from the President himself. As possible Fleet Admiral, what are your future plans for military and naval structure for UTAD?
My future plans for UTAD's military and naval structure focus on clarity, scalability, and specialization. I'll establish distinct divisions, like I said before, recon, assault, support, logistics, each with clear leadership and responsibilities. We'll formalize squad roles, comms hierarchy, and operation protocols to ensure we can field organized forces at any scale. Rank and role progression will be transparent, giving members a clear path to grow. This structure ensures that whether we're launching a small skirmish team or a full fleet assault, UTAD moves as one, coordinated, disciplined, and ready.
All right, Guitar.
Yeah, it all comes down to organized logistics. Comms protocols is absolutely imperative in any operation, and understanding your hierarchy of that protocol. And so during an operation, comms should be concise, consistent, and always direct. And that goes for any scale of an event, whether it's just a little fighter squadron doing their thing, or it's a ground force doing their thing, or whether we have a massive fleet that's in motion. No matter what, always follow that hierarchy, compartmentalize the comms if you need to with different leadership sectors, and be able to relay the information around.
All right, Winters, you got a rebuttal?
Nothing to add there.
Okay, Guitar, anything to add?
Nothing to add.
All right. So the last question we have from the org members is, call those. What are your solutions, ideas to cover multiple time zones, seeing as most of the recent events are all events being between midnight and 8 a.m. for people from the same time zone as Belgium? So similar hours for GMT for events and 3 in-game events. And all in-game events all fall that time bracket. This is an example based on current events and should lead to guys getting some ideas / solutions, which I would love to hear.
Yeah, that's a very fair concern, and it's something I take very seriously because I'm part of that time zone that's left out right now. As a Fleet Admiral, I'd implement a time zone aware scheduling system, rotating event times weekly to make sure EU and North America and other regions we have to take in consideration are all get equal access. I'd also work to empower regional officers or squad leaders to run ops independently when core leadership isn't online. So for in-game events, we'll use shared availability so members can form response teams on their own schedule or with the fleet backing it. UTAD isn't tied to one clock as we know it right now. It's a global organization, and our ops should reflect that. And as I said prior, we will focus more on EU recruitment so that more events will start or will be in the EU time zone, but not leave the North American time zone out of it.
Guitar?
All right, so one of the biggest things to remember is one of the key things when it comes to engagement with new members is that they have events that they can partake. So it'll be hard to establish that recruitment regime if we don't have events already in place. And events can happen with just 2 people. I mean, if we look at Grex's past, it started with just Van and Wolf doing their thing, and then it grew into something greater. So don't be afraid to start an event where it's just you and another person. I mean, that would be my key point to this, is that we need to keep an established event system where events are running, even if it's only 2 or 3 people, it doesn't matter. Take the small team and make something happen. There is many points in history where this has been done. Hannibal against the Roman legion took a small army and absolutely obliterated a massive force against him. Numbers really don't matter if you keep the positions and the mind at heart.
Yeah, that's a pretty good statement you did there, but I don't think that you have to set up events for 1 or 2 people because some people align their own schedule from private life around that event. So if you're just one or two people online, you can just think about something, what you're gonna do, and then be that one significant striking force, as you just said. But when it comes to events, I think there should be more people involved, and so we can start larger scale operations with it.
Okay.
So-
Are you got a rebuttal on that?
Yeah, I mean, my thing with it is so yeah, obviously you can do impromptu operations. They've happened so many times already. But the point of having the events on the calendar is what about those people in the background that don't actively join voice, that don't actively show there? If they don't see an event there, they're not going to show face. But if they see an event there, then they show face, and now we get more engagement with them, and now we pull them into the fold. So I'm not saying no impromptu, but definitely have the events on the calendar so that people can expect something to come up and something to be there, and we can start getting those people to start showing face.
Okay. Anything else to add to either of that, guys?
Yeah, I get the point you're making, but I think just because there's an event doesn't make people in the background who do not join the voice suddenly appear from nowhere. We have a lot of members in our Discord, but I would say quite few regularly active, and we should set up events for people who are active, who can build their time schedule on it, and not just hope for someone to join in. So those smaller events are for everybody who just wants to hop in, and the larger scale events should be planned a little bit in advance.
All right. Guitar, you want to respond to that?
Yeah, I mean, I understand where you're getting at. Like, obviously, I'm not saying just throw large-scale events out there, for sake of a large-scale event sitting there. Like, no, they will be small events, but put them on the calendar. Let people see. Like, how do you know that these people in the Discord aren't watching the events that are showing up? How can you assure that that isn't a way to bring them active? And if that isn't the way to bring them active, how would you?
I think you cannot force anyone to be active. Some people may join purely out of interest, and we just have to hope for the best or just wait it out. Maybe that they hop back on. I see the point, and I support it that we can try putting up smaller events for a specific time, just like cargo or bounty hunting, to attract maybe with someone. So I would agree on that point. Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to move off that topic. I did throw in a bonus question that neither of you were able to prepare for. So we'll start with winners. As Fleet Admiral, how do you ensure that your members are having fun and forming strong bonds rather than just focusing on operations and objectives? For example, if all military assets are committed to a major operation, but GRIT members request support for a non-essential, morale-boosting mission, how do you handle that situation and maintain balance between mission success and community engagement?
Yeah, I think that's a very critical and valuable point to have the enjoyment in playing still there. I mean, we all talk together, so I don't think there will be any misalignment between missions when GRIT members are on a mission and military resources are just outplanned during the same time. So we will always work together and make sure that everyone is included in the operation. And otherwise, what you just asked with like forming bonds and not just having the military structure. When we're in the Discord and having a little chit chat, it's always fun, and I think no one is left out. Everyone is brought into the communication, and I would try to keep that up. but just maybe tune it down a little bit during strategical and tactical moments during an operation.
Guitar.
Yeah, so I think in that moment, if we're in a major op and a grit team makes a call, the one thing we got to remember is the grit team is us. Like that's home field. And I'm pretty sure that any one of us would want to go help grit do whatever they're going to do that they're calling for help on. So it's as simple as just calling for volunteers. Call for 2 people to go help grit. And 2 people isn't going to drastically change your operational efficiency in a major op. So sending 2 people off isn't that big of a deal. When it comes to forming bonds with each other, it's as simple as constantly interacting with each other, spending time doing the things we enjoy doing. And as far as our enjoyments go, it's just keeping that mildly light atmosphere, even during training, which we've all done. Which is, we laugh, we make jokes, we mess with each other here and there, and that's all fine as long as the common vision and goal is the same, and as long as those jokes aren't taken too far. And that's the only thing we need to ensure, is that what we joke around with isn't going to diminish somebody else's gameplay.
Right. We're not going to do responses on that question. I think that was pretty solid from both of you guys. We are going to move into the closing statements. Winners, you have 2 minutes on the clock. If you don't use full 2 minutes, that's okay, but you definitely have enough time if you need to. And same to you, Guitar. So go ahead, winners.
So thank you all for your time and attention today. I'm not here to reinvent the wheel. I'm here to keep it turning smoothly with direction and purpose. With over 13 years of military structure behind me, I understand what organized leadership looks like and how to make it work in a game that thrives on freedom, chaos, and creativity. If elected Fleet Admiral, I will lead with clarity, build with structure, and always keep communications open and honest. I'll make sure every member has a place, every voice is respected, and every operation runs with precision, no matter your time zone, role, or playstyle. I'm ready to serve, and more importantly, I'm ready to lead. Let's shape UTAD into a fleet the verse recognizes, not just for its power, but for its unity. Thank you.
All right, very good. Guitar, you also get the 2 minutes on the clock, and your time starts now.
All right. Well, thank you for hearing out this lovely debate and this momentous occasion for UTAD. If you elect me Fleet Admiral, I will ensure that we grow strong, that we stay unified, that our enjoyment stays strong with the game, and that our engagement grows even more. The biggest thing to remember is that every step forward comes with a struggle, and every struggle comes with a learning, and that learning is what makes us grow. So let's keep doing it strong. Let's make UTAD a force to be reckoned with. Let's make us respected, and let's make us known.
All right. So everyone, that is the end of the debate. I wish both candidates the best of luck, and I think I could speak for the Special Forces guys. We're ready to support either of you.
Thank you very much.
So play back in your head their answers, their responses when you guys get ready to vote. Nicely done, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. So the votes are gonna be done like today.